What I have in my hand today is really exciting. I want to tell you guys about this. I think one of the unusual things about me having a beekeeping channel is that I have such a passion about bees. I have such a passion to help beekeepers. I have such a passion to see more people get into beekeeping that I'm not just out there showing you what I'm doing every day, but I'm trying to teach you along the way and tell you about stuff like this. Look at this. This really has become, in recent years, the beekeeper's best friend. And a lot of people don't know what this is. And I'm going to show you what it is, talk to you about it. And I'm going to show you how we use it in many different applications. But if you're unfamiliar with this, it looks like an ordinary piece of metal maybe to you, or ordinary piece of screen, but it's more than that. In fact, in beekeeping, you have to use this exact measurement, this exact piece of screen here, in order for it to work in so many ways in beekeeping. And I got a bunch of examples. What is this called? Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you all the way through the video what we use this for and why you probably need to purchase some of this material to have at hand. Now, this is called 1/8 inch hardware cloth. And what that means is that if you were to measure an inch across, you're going to wind up measuring across about 8 of these little openings. Now that's perfect for beekeeping because 1/8 inch hardware cloth, why it's called a cloth, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely screen, but it's a material and it's spaced out just right so that bees cannot pass through it. But it's a very wide opening. For example, if you went to a 1/4 inch hardware cloth, bees would just fly right through it. So this has become kind of this standard piece of screen that we use in so many different ways in beekeeping, and in some ways that you may not know about. For example, we have this. And all of you might start thinking, well, that's a robber screen, David. I know what that is. Actually, it's not a robber screen. This is what you put on, well, let me show you. You put it on a bottom board and you put it on the entrance and you put it in such a way, like if you had your deep hive body here, you would place it on the bottom board like this. And if you're wanting to move your hive, this is a way for you to collect your bees. You put this, it's called a moving screen. You put this on the front of your beehive and all the bees are able to fly in, through the little holes here, but then they don't leave. They don't fly out through the little holes. But it's just a way that if all at once you realize, oh my, I need to move my hive. I need to catch my foragers. They're all out there flying and I need to move my hive in the next hour. Maybe they're going to spray some pesticides in your area, insecticides or something. And so you need to collect your bees, get them out of there. This would be perfect for that. Some people call this the Florida moving screen, but it's really a great little moving screen. And look, there's our hardware cloth. It's 1/8 inch hardware cloth on this kind of moving screen. Oh, but you're right. Most robber screens that aren't made of plastic, like the one I showed you in the last video, most robber screens today that people make or sell are made of the 1/8 inch hardware cloth. You're right about that. Now, look at this. Here's a strange item, and you may not be aware of this. I really think you need one of these. I'm not trying to sell it because I'm not one to sell these, but these are available on all, probably Amazon or your big bee stores or wherever. But it is made up of 1/8 inch hardware cloth as well. Look at me through there. And it actually, let me see if you can guess what it is. This actually is the size of a deep hive body, which I think I have. Yep, here we go. So let's show you what this is. What you do with this is you place it on the very top of your hive, maybe whatever the top box is, and then you take your top cover and you place it on top like this. And so what you've actually created is a great ventilated inner cover. Now, you know my position on inner covers. Wooden inner covers, I'm not too crazy about. I see that they have purposes, especially in the wintertime, but I feed my bees my winter bee kind in the wintertime. But in this case, what you're doing, as you can tell, is you're holding all the bees below this ventilation screen, this ventilated screened inner cover, and you're holding them down, and you would want to use this when the temperature gets really hot in your area. Why are these sides notched out? Well, it's simple. It's just for ventilation. If it wasn't notched out, then the top cover, most top covers would fit flat on there and would not allow any ventilation. So you got to have that there. Now, it's a little risky in some ways in that it could allow small hive beetle to fly in, especially if you have this up on a honey super. Small hive beetles do go through 1/8 inch hardware cloth. So you want to use it kind of cautiously, maybe only use it when you have to, like if you are moving your hives or something and you do need, or it's a really, really hot day and you really do need to ventilate your hive. This is a great thing to use. You ought to have this in your beekeeping toolbox. By the way, I love these top covers. This is my go-to top cover. I'm going to wind up replacing all of my top covers with these because I love them so much. They're hard plastic. We do sell these. And I just like how lightweight they are, how easy to handle they are. Very good top covers. Now, let's continue on talking about the 1/8 inch hardware cloth and the many uses that it has. So we talked about the inner cover there. We've talked about the moving screen. And look at this. A lot of you are familiar with my feeding system that I make that a lot of you are using this time of the year. Again, we place this on top of where your bees are. This is great for springtime. It goes just like this. But look what it has on it. 1/8 inch hardware cloth. And so I wanted a way to simply be able to feed my bees and hold them down. So when I change out my sugar jars that fit into here, they actually eat through, put the little proboscis up through the 1/8 hardware cloth into the holes in the sugar jar and consume the sugar content with our additives in there. And so this is a place here that I invented this. I made this so you can push a pollen patty through here. A lot of you like to say the word extruder. Now you can. If you push your pollen patty through here, you are extruding your pollen patty. I give you permission to call this screen pollen patty area a pollen patty extruder. All right. So anyway, look how the hardware cloth is used here. Again, it's just material that we really as beekeepers need to have. Not easy to find. We buy big rolls of it through lumber yards. They sell big rolls of it. I'm not sure, I haven't checked recently, if some of your big department stores like Home Depot or Lowe's, Menards, I don't know if they carry the 1/8 hardware cloth. I'm telling you what, so many people make a mistake and they buy window screen. That's not the best material to use, because if you're looking for bees to have access through their proboscis, proboscis going through here, or if you're looking at a bottom board, in this case, where you want ventilation, sometimes the screen openings are so tight that you don't get as much ventilation like I can show you here on this bottom board. I mentioned this bottom board the other day in my last video. This is what we use on bottom boards. Screen bottom boards use 1/8 inch hardware cloth. And because a lot of stuff can go through it, debris falls out. Mites, for example, are dropped by the bees onto the screen bottom board and they fall out of the hive. Mites aren't good climbers, so once the mites fall through, then we don't have to worry about the mites coming back in again, versus a solid bottom board where those mites could actually just go down there and wait for more bees to walk by, and then they just climb on the bees and away they go. So again, I'm telling you, this particular type of 1/8 inch hardware cloth is really good stuff to have on hand. Now, I spent a lot of years making everything out of this. Particularly, I've made some videos and some actual blogs on how I use this material to make queen cages and a push-in cage. I used to make push-in cages out of this material. And I sat around, this is way back, and I sat around and thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait till they make a queen push-in cage out of one piece of plastic. And I'm not a plastic guy. I don't have a way of making plastic. Now there's 3D printers. But I thought at the time, 10 or 20 years ago, oh, I'd love to have a plastic push-in queen cage. Well, now they do. I've shown them on here. I love the plastic push-in queen cages. But I used to make them out of this material here. And I actually wrote blogs on how I was recommending many years ago that beekeepers make pushing and queen cages out of this 1/8 inch hardware cloth. Cool stuff. I love all these kind of gadgets. I'm a gadget guy. So all of these things in beekeeping, it fascinates me. And that's why I always think about how can we utilize all these things better. Well, guys, one of the things that's very easy, that is learning more about beekeeping in a video that I made that now has over 1.5 million views on it. And if you're interested in beekeeping, there's still time this year. I'd love to see you join because as I said, man, I'm passionate. I want to help you guys keep healthier bees and make fewer mistakes. So check out my video right here, how to get started in beekeeping. I'll see you over there.